to understand about the difference between traveller and express board qualifying. I want to make sure the C-boy position under Pete the Fire does count toward qualifying that position. Two people have told me now they don't think it does. I think it's still up and does. Is that right? Also, if and then we'll leave that at that for now. And then there's a second part to the question. If you can move that up a little bit, I can't see the bottom of that. Okay, that's on me. Can't make it bigger. Okay. C-boy is basically on the top of this board, and if you roll scroll the pointer over C-boy for me there, Kelly, that's what I do whenever I'm, checking out how I want to help boards cycle. So if you roll that over C-boy, it'll tell you who the sponsor is. Just give that another girl, Kelly. The sponsor is Pete the Fire 8. But see how it's got the arrow indicating to you that C-boy will go to Pete the Fire on that express board. So and it may not always be, sometimes the system isn't caught up quick enough, so that's not always the case. But I would click on Pete the Fire, I think that's what Kelly's just done, so that we can go to that board, just to make sure that Pete the Fire 8 isn't there. Now, so C-boy, need to move that down a little bit there, Kelly. C-boy is sponsored by Pete the Fire 8. Okay, now we look on that board and no, it's not on there. So if you could show the board for Pete the Fire 8, Kelly, that would be great. What we're trying to find out here is, there's Pete the Fire 8 in there. Okay, there it is down the bottom. Did you see that? Okay, now Pete the Fire 8 isn't on the express board yet. Okay, so if C-boy cycle now, the sponsor isn't on the express board, so we're looking to see where the credit for that would go. So if you can roll your mouse over Pete the Fire 8 for me, Kelly. The sponsor for Pete the Fire 8 is Pete the Fire 4. Okay, so let's go and see where Pete the Fire 4 is. We're just basically tracing where the credit, if C-boy went over now, where would the credit for that end up? So Pete the Fire 4 is not there either. Let's roll over Pete the Fire 4 and see who sponsored Pete the Fire 4. Pete the Fire. Okay, so Pete the Fire, who is on the board, is already qualified. So it would actually go above Pete the Fire to NJ, and I can tell you I know he's qualified, and I know the one above is qualified, and so don't even worry about going. It's going to be like 10 above. So what Pete was trying to figure out was he has other Pete the Fire. As you can see, Pete the Fire 3 is there, and it needs qualifying. But C-boy is not in direct line to Pete the Fire 3. So Pete the Fire 3 would not receive that spiller for that, Pete. Does that make sense? It keeps going up, so the best thing for you to do, let's go back to C-boy, Kelly, for a second. The best thing for you to do is see which positions are above C-boy that are closest to cycling and help the people on that board to fill that board so that you can cycle. So C-boy here, actually, that Glenmar 1 lady that's underneath TVI, she's a little firecracker as well. So that, I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but I know that they are focusing, the C-boy people, they're focusing on trying to help that come over before the Glenmar 1 board comes over. So whether or not that happens, everyone's doing their best. So that answers the first part of that question. Does Pete the Fire 3 get qualified by that? And the answer would be no, because the direct line of who's sponsoring who does not come into your other positions. Okay?
What she's saying is it's not going to go cross-line. In other words,
yes.
Even though Pete the Fire 3 was sponsored by Pete the Fire, it's not direct line. Pete the Fire, then Pete the Fire. It eventually went Pete the Fire 8, so it was 4-8, and the other Pete the Fire 3 is on the other team, another team on the other side.
Another line, yep. Now the second part of that question, see where the Pete the Fire board is at the top, and it's got C board 2 in it with an asterisk. The question is basically, does that qualify the Pete the Fire position on the express board? You bet your bottom dollar it does. You know, that position is qualified to earn your 10,000, and you don't need to do anything more for that. So that position already has qualified. Okay, the next thing, also, if BHAR1's position gets over before Pete the 4 and Pete the 7, would it possibly qualify my Pete the Fire 3? Okay, let's go to BHAR1, BEHA1, Kelly.
What was the ID?
BEHA. BHAR1. A1. Oh, instead of a D, it's a B. B for Bob. B for Betty. B for bouncing baby boy.
Is that it?
Megan, yes, that Megan didn't have because she had a bouncing baby girl.
Okay, now while Deb is explaining this, the rest of you can be asking any question. That way we'll have other questions once she finishes up on this one.
Okay, so just roll over BHAR1 for me, Kelly. And we basically go through the same process. Pete the Fire 7 is the sponsor, and this sounds like it's going to be the other leg, so you actually may be in luck by the looks of this. In fact, I'll just about guarantee it. Okay, Pete the Fire 7. Pete the Fire 7's on the board yet, and that comes up to Pete the Fire 4.
I think it's the same leg.
Yeah, I think you're out of luck on that one, sweetie. Pete the Fire 4 goes to Pete the Fire. Yep, no. Pete the Fire 3 misses out on that one too, Pete. Is there any way it could? No. I'm not quite sure how the spill up works. Does it spill up to the next qualified sponsor or to the next sponsor on your team that needs it? It spills up to the next vacancy, the next opening where someone needs a sponsor. I had one last week and basically it went up like 6 or 7 and Kelly and I have gone up forever, haven't they? But, you know, there was one that went up, you know, all the way up to Kelly from quite down low. So
they've been helping even 5 or 6 above me with the China.
Well, yeah. So that's the answer to that question. Do we have any more?